Few weapons of World War II inspire as much fascination as the German Tiger tank. Built to dominate the battlefield, it became both a nightmare for Allied soldiers and a legend in military history. Today, we're counting down 10 incredible facts about the Tiger tank that reveal the truth behind the myth and explain why, even today, the name Tiger still strikes a chord. Fact 1. Built to beat the T-34. When Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, it expected a quick victory. Instead, its tank forces, dominated by the Panzer III and Panzer IV, were shocked to face Soviet machines that were far superior. The T-34 had sloped armor, which deflected incoming shells, and a gun powerful enough to knock out German panzers easily. The KV-1 was even worse, so heavily armored that many German anti-tank guns couldn't touch it at all. German soldiers joked grimly that the only way to stop a KV-1 was to climb on top and shove a grenade inside. Hitler demanded a solution. What he wanted was a tank that could completely outclass Soviet armor, a tank that would restore German superiority. That project became the Tiger I, a heavy tank designed not just to fight the T-34, but to dominate the battlefield with sheer firepower and protection. Fact 2. The deadly 88mm gun. The Tiger's most famous feature was its main armament, the 88mm KWK-36 gun. This weapon had already earned a terrifying reputation as an anti-aircraft gun repurposed against tanks. Allied crews in North Africa had learned to fear the 88, which could destroy British Matildas and American Shermans long before they could get into range. Mounted on the Tiger, the 88mm became even deadlier. It could knock out virtually any Allied tank at ranges well over a mile. In practice, this meant that in many duels, the Tiger could fire first, score a kill, and retreat or reposition before the enemy even realized what hit them. The gun was accurate, devastating, and in the hands of a skilled crew, almost unfair. Fact 3. Armor like a fortress. The Tiger was also a fortress on tracks. Its frontal armor was up to 120 millimeters thick. That's more than twice the protection of many Allied tanks of the time. In combat, Allied tankers often fired round after round at Tigers, only to watch their shots bounce off harmlessly. Crews described the frustration of hearing the clang of their shells ricocheting without doing any damage. This advantage forced the Allies to innovate. Britain rushed to field its 17-pounder anti-tank gun, which could finally pierce the Tiger's hide. The Americans used tactics like swarming a Tiger with multiple Shermans, trying to flank it and hit the weaker side armor. The Tiger reshaped the battlefield simply by existing. It made opponents change the way they fought. Fact 4. Psychological warfare. But sometimes the Tiger didn't even need to fire a shot. It won battles in the mind. Allied soldiers developed a genuine fear of the Tiger, a condition so common it became known as Tiger phobia. Even a rumor that one was nearby could cause entire units to panic or retreat. German propaganda capitalized on this. Posters and newsreels showcased the Tiger as an unstoppable juggernaut, the symbol of German technological superiority. In reality, Tigers were rare, but their reputation made them seem far more common. When a tank becomes a legend, it doesn't just destroy vehicles, it destroys morale. Fact 5. Mechanical headaches. Of course, the Tiger wasn't perfect. At 57 tons, it was pushing the limits of 1940s engineering. Its Maybach engine was powerful but constantly strained, and the heavy transmission was prone to failure. Tigers often broke down on long marches, sometimes before they even reached the battlefield. In mud, snow, or soft ground, the Tiger could bog down, and recovering it was a nightmare. Few vehicles were strong enough to tow it, so if a Tiger became stuck or immobilized, crews often had no choice but to abandon it, and usually destroy it with explosives to keep it out of enemy hands. For all its battlefield dominance, the Tiger was just as famous for being temperamental and difficult to maintain. Fact 6. Costly overkill. The Tiger was a marvel of engineering, but marvels come at a steep price. Each Tiger cost around 250,000 Reichsmarks, several times the cost of a simpler Panzer IV. Production was slow, labor-intensive, and required high-quality materials that Germany was running out of by 1943. In total, only about 1,350 Tigers were ever built. By comparison, the Soviets rolled out more than 80,000 T-34s, and the Americans built nearly 50,000 Shermans. those numbers tell the real story. For every Tiger on the field, the Allies could bring 5 or even 10 tanks to the fight. Quantity, in the end, had a quality all its own. Fact 7. The Tiger Aces. Despite being few in number, Tigers earned their fame through the actions of their crews. Tank commanders like Michael Whitman became legendary. Whitman's most famous action came in 1944 at the French village of Villers-Bocage, where his single Tiger destroyed more than a dozen British tanks and vehicles in minutes. To Allied troops, it seemed like science fiction. One machine tearing apart an entire column. These kinds of exploits, whether exaggerated in retelling or not, turned Tiger crews into national heroes in Germany and cemented the myth of the Tiger as an unbeatable beast. Of course, even Tiger aces weren't invincible. Whitman himself was later killed in action when Allied tanks and aircraft finally brought his Tiger down. Fact 8. Enter the King Tiger. In 1944, Germany introduced an upgraded successor, the Tiger II, also known as the King Tiger. This new machine weighed 68 tons, carried even thicker armor, and mounted a longer 88mm gun capable of destroying any Allied tank at virtually any range. On paper, the King Tiger was the ultimate weapon. But reality was harsher. The King Tiger was slower, even less reliable mechanically, and guzzled fuel at a time when Germany could barely supply its armies. Only about 490 were built, and most were lost not in glorious battles, but to breakdowns, fuel shortages, or airstrikes. The King Tiger represented the peak of German tank design and the limits of what over-engineering could achieve in a losing war. Fact 9. Captured by the Allies. The Allies were desperate to study the Tiger. In Tunisia in 1943, the British managed to capture one relatively intact. That vehicle, known as Tiger 131, was shipped back to England for analysis. Today, it survives as one of the most famous museum pieces in the world. Tiger 131 has been fully restored to running condition and can be seen at the Bovington Tank Museum. It is the only operational Tiger tank left anywhere on Earth. Seeing it move and hearing the roar of its engine is a reminder that this legendary machine was not just history on paper. It was a very real presence that shaped the battles of World War II. Fact 10. A lasting legacy. In the end, the Tiger didn't win the war for Germany, but it left a legacy that far outlasted the conflict. It proved the battlefield value of combining heavy firepower with strong armor, even if it sacrificed mobility and reliability. Post-war tank design around the world carried echoes of the Tiger. More than that, the Tiger became a cultural icon. From books and documentaries to films and video games, it remains the archetype of the World War II supertank. It symbolizes both the brilliance and the folly of German engineering, an unstoppable machine that, in practice, could not be produced or maintained in the numbers needed to change the course of history. The Tiger tank was powerful, terrifying, and deeply flawed, all at once. It didn't save Nazi Germany, but it carved its place into legend. Its reputation still echoes more than 70 years later, a reminder that in war, weapons can shape not only the battlefield, but also the imagination of generations. Which fact surprised you the most? Let me know down in the comments.